Imagine a world frozen in time, a city buried beneath layers of volcanic ash, its people caught in their final moments, preserved in ways no one could have ever imagined. This isn't a work of science fiction or mythology. It's a real, chilling mystery that archaeologists uncovered in the ruins of Herculaneum, an ancient Roman city obliterated by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. While thousands perished in the catastrophe, one particular victim stood out, a man whose brain had turned to glass. For years, scientists were baffled. How could soft human tissue undergo such an extreme transformation? Brains typically decompose rapidly after death, yet here was something unprecedented. A biological structure seemingly frozen in time, its organic matter turned into a glass-like substance. After decades of research, scientists believe they have finally unraveled the mystery. And what they discovered is not just a fascinating historical anomaly, but a revelation that could change how we understand extreme preservation, both in nature and in science. Before we dive into the mystery of the vitrified brain, we need to understand the catastrophe that sealed its fate. Herculaneum, a wealthy Roman town, sat along the Bay of Naples just a short distance from Pompeii. It was home to merchants, artisans, and scholars, a place filled with grand villas, beautiful mosaics, and luxurious bathhouses. The people of Herculaneum lived a life of leisure and prosperity, unaware that they were sitting in the shadow of one of the deadliest volcanoes in history. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, it unleashed a fury unlike anything seen before. At first, a massive column of ash, gas, and rock shot over 30 kilometers into the sky, turning day into night. The eruption was so powerful that it created what scientists now call a Plinian eruption, named after the Roman historian Pliny the Younger, who documented the disaster from across the bay. While Pompeii was buried under thick layers of pumice and ash over the course of several hours, Herculaneum suffered an even more terrifying fate. Instead of falling debris, it was struck by a pyroclastic surge, a lethal, high-speed avalanche of superheated gas, ash, and volcanic material, traveling at hundreds of kilometers per hour. This wave of destruction hit Herculaneum with temperatures as high as 500 to 600 degrees Celsius, 930 to 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to instantly vaporize human tissue. Most of Herculaneum's residents had fled the city before the disaster struck, but some were not so lucky. Those who remained were obliterated within moments, their bodies exposed to an inferno of unimaginable heat. What remained was a haunting sight, skeletons frozen in their last moments, some clutching each other, some alone, their final expressions lost to time. For centuries, the ruins of Herculaneum remained buried under layers of volcanic rock and ash, hidden from the world. When archaeologists finally began excavations in the 18th century, they uncovered incredibly well-preserved structures, wooden furniture, and even food, testaments to how quickly the city was sealed off from the elements. But the most shocking discovery was made decades later in the 1960s. Inside what was once the Collegium Augustaleum, a building dedicated to the worship of the emperor, archaeologists unearthed the skeletal remains of a man lying on a wooden bed. He was believed to be the building's caretaker, possibly caught in his sleep when disaster struck. For years, his remains were studied like those of other victims, until 2001, when forensic anthropologist Pier Paolo Petrone noticed something unusual inside the man's skull. Glassy, black fragments were found within the cranial cavity. At first, researchers assumed it was just volcanic rock or hardened ash, but upon closer examination, they realized something shocking. These fragments contained proteins and fatty acids unique to the human brain. This was not stone, not debris. This was vitrified brain tissue, a brain that had turned to glass. Vitrification is a process that occurs when organic material is exposed to extreme heat, followed by rapid cooling, turning it into a glass-like state. This phenomenon is commonly observed in molten lava, industrial glassmaking, and even in laboratory cryonics. But in human biology, almost never. To understand how this happened, scientists had to analyze the unique conditions that led to vitrification in this specific case. First, extreme heat exposure. When the pyroclastic surge hit Herculaneum, it instantly burned away soft tissue, exposing the brain to temperatures high enough to melt its fatty acids. Second, rapid cooling. Unlike other parts of the body that fully disintegrated, the skull may have acted as a protective chamber, allowing the molten brain matter to cool and solidify before it could completely vaporize. Third, ash insulation. Layers of ash covering the body may have helped preserve the vitrified tissue, preventing it from degrading over time. This process effectively froze the man's brain in time, creating an artifact unlike anything ever discovered. The implications of this find go far beyond archaeology. It could reshape how we understand preservation in extreme environments. The discovery of the vitrified brain at Herculaneum opens up entirely new questions in the fields of archaeology, forensic science, and even cryonics. Understanding ancient deaths is one such benefit. The study of this brain helps researchers understand what happens to human bodies in extreme heat, providing valuable insights into forensic science and historical disasters. Preservation of organic material is another major implication. If a brain can be vitrified under natural conditions, could this process be replicated for medical or scientific purposes? Cryonics researchers have long explored vitrification for preserving human tissues at sub-zero temperatures. This discovery offers a natural case study. There's also the potential for DNA extraction. While no viable DNA has been found yet, advancements in technology could one day allow scientists to extract genetic material from vitrified remains, offering a direct connection to a 2,000-year-old individual. But beyond science, there's something deeply human about this discovery. It's a reminder of how fragile life is, how unpredictable nature can be, and how even in moments of total destruction, traces of the past can survive in the most unexpected ways. This single man, who may have lived an ordinary life, has now become a window into a world lost to time. The story of Herculaneum is one of both destruction and preservation. While thousands perished in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, their final moments were frozen in time, allowing us to study and understand a disaster that shaped history. The man whose brain turned to glass was an ordinary citizen, living an ordinary life until he became part of an extraordinary event. His remains now serve as a bridge between the ancient world and modern science. As archaeologists continue to uncover new secrets buried beneath Herculaneum, we are reminded that history is not just written in books. Sometimes it is preserved in glass. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing history and science content. Let us know in the comments, what ancient mystery should we explore next?